could be a draw.
I tip this.
Oh, there's tremendous pressure out here. And the excitement, the place is seething.
I still think about it. It still haunts me.
This was history in the making. I was absolutely petrified.
There's a chance for Neale.
I always knew myself what I had in mind. Run through Ian Stewart. Bar nothing. Bar nothing.
I'm shaking. It's the most emotional thing I've ever seen in my life.
It was huge. Gives you goosebumps now thinking about it.
Wherever you go, whatever you do, I'll remember you for the rest of my life.
Oh, these players are so
This is
weird.
madness.
25 minutes to make an 8 goal like you never made before.
It was a good year, 66. The place was really jumping. It was a good time.
It was the era of pop music, you know, the mod invasion.
The mods tend to have long hair and wear mod gear. As well as its swinging discotheques, Melbourne now has about 60 Saturday night dances.
I remember distinctly how ridiculous I looked in those days. Bushy sideburns that came out along the corridor of the cheeks.
Yeah, I used to have the modern colour suits, and I remember once a very heavy reddish type of suit.
Very pointy-toed shoes, high heels, which suited the Rovers.
There was a lot of things happening in 1966. It was the start of the decimal currency, which we really liked that because instead of getting £5 a game, we were getting $10. It was double our money.
Several £1 million worth of dollars are already circulating in the state since the banks opened this morning. Indications are that Australians have taken to the new currency with very little difficulty.
I was exposed to decimal currency because I was a teller in the bank. We'd down tools at 5 o'clock and shut the bank, and we'd race down to the local pub, 6 o'clock swill. We'd have 3 or 4 pots and then go back and finish up counting our money.
I worked in Sierakowski's hotel as a barman. They'd just knock off work. They'd only be in there for 20 minutes and they'd have about 15 beers. I'd get them down as quick as they could.
They'd line up all these empty glasses and Cowboy and I'd go along with our Plutos. They were guns, just filling them up all the way through. The whole bar was just a massive grog, and then all of a sudden the fellas are going whoosh, whoosh, to get rid of all by 6:30. No wonder they were cut to pieces as they walked out of the hotel.
Well before the end of the game, it became clear that good old St Kilda would remain good old St Kilda, and that the mighty Bombers from Essendon would clinch their 12th premiership.
Probably in 65, St Kilda was the best side in it overall, but did have trouble with beating Essendon.
Essendon coach John Coleman is congratulated by rival coach Allan Jeans. Perhaps for Daryl Baldock and the Saints, it'll be their turn next year.
All of a sudden we're in the grand final, and what do we do now?
St Kilda hadn't been in a grand final since 1913, and no one around the club really knew what to do.
The players met at Allan's place at Cheltenham on the Friday night before the final, and I'm sure we would have won that match had we left, if we could have ran on the ground instead of having to go home to bed.
I think mentally we actually had played our game at that meeting.
You've just been G'd up to play in this grand final, and I'm quite sure the players were tired the next day.
Before Jeans had been coach, St Kilda had only made the finals 6 times in 63 years. He was just on his own as far as knowing the environment.
Tell me, how are you feeling now?
Sick. Terrible.
Has it taken a lot out of you?
Yeah, brought a lot of streamers, cheer them on, but didn't do them very much good.
What are you going to do now with your banner there?
I'm just going to keep it till next year.
Think you'll win then?
Yeah.
You sure you'll win then?
Positive.
66, it was more a case, it was Collingwood and St Kilda seemed to be the 2 best in it.
The attitude that we took out onto the ground during the course of that year was that we were going to win the game.
During 66, Collingwood beat St Kilda by 12 goals in the only home and away game they played.
We did seem to have their measure.
I'll never forget Collingwood because all that's said about them is true. They used to spit on you as you ran out the race and jab their umbrellas down into you like your lions going out into the Coliseum. I mean, I was only 20 and I thought, gee, this is good out here.
There was always cold showers when you came in off the ground.
They'll deny it, but you can't trust a Collingwood supporter to tell the truth.
Welcome to the MCG. Tuddenham tries to bust his way through. He'll pick it up. He scores! Fabulous! Tuddenham just about to run out of space. Has a kick and it's his 7th.
The second semi, we're down at three-quarter time and I was fortunate enough to be able to get 3 goals, I think, in the last quarter and turn the game. They had Dittrich out, and so that gave us a bit more of a leeway, I felt.
Carl got rubbed out for striking Daryl Peoples at the old Brunswick Street ground. It wasn't much in it, you know, but there was no video in those days.
Dietrich gave it away because he played the man.
No, he did not. And I think he gets victimised.
He's a colossal player, but he gave it away because he was playing the man. He wasn't.
Just had a brain snap, really. I don't think there was any great reason why he had to punch the bloke, particularly not at that stage of the season.
They win by 10 points.
It goes down in your memory as one of the beautiful days of a game of football. It was terrific to win and get into the grand final.
We had to do something to try and control Tuddy, having kicked 7 goals on Daryl Griffiths. And in the rooms after the game, he couldn't stop crying. He was just gone. He knew he'd let the players down and the team and all that, and that's how bad he felt.
And they're relentless in attack, but St Kilda are defending well.
We thought we'd get over Essendon in the preliminary final. We got these blokes covered because we knew that the work that the match committee would do on players that could damage us in the grand final, we could recover from that second semi. Once we got through that hurdle, we knew we had a very, very good show.
Ross Oakley got injured in the semi-final, hurt his knee. One of the unluckiest players ever to play for St Kilda. Did the knee the previous year in the second semi, the same equivalent game, and missed that grand final in 65.
There would be 2 or 3 players who would be considering themselves very unlucky they weren't in the actual playing side. I know that Doggy Rowlands played all the games that year and missed out in the grand final, which was very disappointing for him.
Doggy Rowlands got dropped. Thought, well, I'd have never spoken to anyone at the club again.
The playing stocks and the depth, they were really down to the bare boards.
If the Saints were to win today, no longer would they remain simply good old St Kilda forever. They could graduate to become the great, high-flying, mighty Saints for a long time to come.
We're back in the same position and we're in the grand final.
Brian Sierakowski is one of the star players of St Kilda, the challengers. He's exactly what the fans like their ball players to be. Big, he's 6'2", heavy, he's 13.5 stone, ruggedly good-looking, and single.
It just so happened that the BBC brought out a team from England to do 13 documentaries here in Australia. It was an amazing scene. The BBC moved in for 7 days prior to the grand final.
I'm a member of a very big family, 13 children, of course. That's besides myself.
All the girls on horses.
Sitting there having a quiet smoke, doing the interview, saying, "Hey, us on Friday afternoons, we used to go out on the yacht and, oh, geez, you know, you vomit."
I like to get out in the bay and maybe do some skiing throughout the day.
But his accent was a bit off, and we did laugh.
And I'm sitting there with a cigarette in my hand, like a pompous little frog. I thought my shit didn't stink.
Yeah, baby. A good Aussie beer.
I mean, this is only a day or two before the game. I'm not too sure if I knocked off the can.
What can I say, Sarah was a wanker.
Both Breeny and Cowboy have every right to be jealous of my performance. That I was an arrogant, spoilt little brat. But unfortunately for them, I have changed. They haven't. And that's the difference.
Daryl Baldock is the captain of St Kilda. He comes from Tasmania, of farming stock. Since he joined St Kilda in 1962, the team's fortune has risen.
There's no place like Melbourne, in Australia certainly, that has this fanatical atmosphere or approach to a league football match.
Daryl Baldock had hurt his knee pretty badly around 15 against South down at Moorabbin. All our hopes sort of hung on a bit of a thread then. He was told that they'd have to have it in plaster for 3 or 4 weeks. He didn't have that done, of course. St Kilda picked him on the bench for the last game and rolled the dice.
Doc played with a lot of injuries. He used to have a cortisone injection before every game into his toes. You just imagine having a cortisone injection into your toes. It used to give him hell. But his knee was a bigger problem.
On the Thursday night of training, we trained and Doc trained, but he hurt his knee. He'd given it a tweak and he walked over to Jeansy and said, I've given it another whack. So Jeansy just blew the whistle and called us all in and said, training's over, that's it. And we just all walked off the ground. And of course, the press were all everywhere, but they didn't see that Doc was sort of limping a bit.
The night before the game, he was sort of worried about it. He couldn't settle. He wasn't at peace at all. He decided to go for a run, just went for a jog. He ran and he stretched out a bit and he felt it was all right. And from that moment forward, he knew it was going to be okay. He'd get through.
Well, you can take America. They got Cassius Clay. We've got Baldock. We'll kill him. He's wonderful. He's wonderful. Turn it up.
Almost 102,000 spectators at Melbourne Cricket Ground for the VFL's 1966 Grand Final. Players appear composed, but they're feeling pre-game nervous tension as the huge crowd awaits the start of play. The Saints' dressing room is a hive of tense activity as muscles are toned and loosened in readiness for their demanding 100-minute task at top speed.
The BBC were there that morning, which added a special flavour. So they were there filming players being prepared for the game. Certain players were being rubbed down and unfortunately, the boys were just covered by towels.
I know for sure one of the blokes was getting the oil rubbed on him and all that stuff wasn't me, because I never had a rub down in my life. Wasn't excited about a male rubbing any oil on my body.
The older blokes seemed to, the Ian Synmans, the Docks, the Verdon Howes, they seemed to love the slapping and the oil. I wasn't big on that.
And as they're being rubbed down, the towels fell away and there the orchestra stools just exploded in front of everybody. And somebody just grabbed the towel and put it back, but that's the way it was.
This is St Kilda's third grand final since their entry into the league in 1897, and they've yet to win a flag.
They got everybody out of the rooms other than the players and the officials. Nobody else was allowed in the rooms once we settled down to get changed. Yabby took us into a little ante-room, spoke to us for probably 10 minutes. You've got the weight of the club on your shoulders.
We were all tense and pent-up energy and nerves, so it was very quiet.
And he spoke in a clear voice and then he'd go up a level and if you weren't really concentrating, he frightened buggery out of you. He really did. Whatever he told me to do, I would have done it and wouldn't have even thought about it.
Out we went, the roar, as we went out on the ground. That's all you heard, huge roar. Fantastic.
Your body went sort of limp and cold.
It was huge to be part of history.
There's nothing better. I don't care what people go through in whatever sport. I don't think there'd be any better 2 or 3 minutes than when you actually run down that race onto the ground.
And here come the Magpies coming up the race now, led by the dynamic skipper, the hero of the second semi-final, there's Tuddenham. And I'll tell you what, you could not fit a sardine into the MCG. And this has all the earmarks of possibly the greatest grand final seen for many, many a long day. Tuddenham tosses, the coin lands, who's won it? Looks like Baldock. The Saints have won the toss. Here's Ian Stewart, the Brownline medalist, the dual Brownline medalist, 65-66.
They used to chunder before a game, quite violently. Jeff Crouch, who umpired the grand final, said to him, "Come on, Stewie, come on about the bounce the ball." And Stewie says, "Bounce a bloody ball so I can stop being sick."
When they bounced the ball, I never ever spoke to anyone else about it, but I always knew myself what I had in mind, and that was to had to run through Ian Stewart.
Umpire Crouch's bounce finds Gavalik going up to win the knockout, but the pacey Stewart gains possession.
Tuddenham just about took him.
And actually, I thought I did.
Oh boy, was Stewart lucky then.
Yeah, that's football. It could have been me, that someone could have been going for me.
If Tuddy had the opportunity to hurt someone, he'd hurt them.
Just bar nothing.
The rugged Magpies test the defensive skills of their heavier opponents in a lively opening to a tough, relentless encounter.
The first 60 seconds, I was saying to myself, how the hell am I going to last 120 minutes? I'm not going to last.
Alan Davis takes his kick. Oh, it's a long one too. It's going to the goal square. They press him back. Kevin Neale has put it through. First goal of the game. I'll tell you what, already you can see the Saints are tackling ferociously. But look at Potter. Potter's right on him. Baldock in trouble. Baldock still playing on a hand pass across here.
Free kick.
And a free.
Couldn't touch him. And he used to throw the ball out. He used to throw the ball away just before he got grabbed. He was very astute. He could use the rules to suit his own particular style.
He's got a strong wind behind him. It's a long one. I tell you what, this is going to be real close. It's through. Round the 1966 Grand Final, we have the great pleasure of listening to Alan Butchgale and Mr. Football himself, Ted Whitten.
Tuddenham being jostled by Bingley. Bingley's on Tuddenham.
I kept saying, got a tough job today, Bingley. He said, don't worry about it, I'll handle him, all right? He's mine.
Bingley wouldn't shake hands with Tuddenham at the start of the game.
Told me to go and whatever was on from then on.
Allan Jeans had set him up for that, because they had to try and unsettle me a little bit,
And Bingley certainly keeping very close attention on Des Tuddenham.
If Johnny Bingley was picking up the ball, Tuddy would definitely try and hit him.
Great respect to Binger. He kept getting laid on his back and he'd get up and he'd do it again.
Half forward flank on that outer side. There's a kick from Hill. Oh, beautiful ripper. It's Burton Howell who pulled down a beauty.
Comes through, picks up, he manages to get a left foot and double it will mark. It's swinging. It's there.
They set themselves up, they go. Comes to the ground, here's a go. Minot. Oh, he's missed it. Oh, Minot, I'll tell you what. He'll never get over that one.
There, Richardson down, it comes here to Wallace. Wallace left-footed at goal. And it's through. Oh, the goal player whacked very solidly there.
Oh, fancy doing that to an umpire.
I'll tell you what, too, it's Steve Stevens, who has been a goal umpire for 20 years, and this is his final appearance in league football.
He was the mayor of Moorabbin, and I couldn't believe it. I reckon I've just touched him. Oh, I said, what in the hell is going on? And he's collapsed in front of 101,000 people because he reckons I've hit him in the orchestra stalls.
And I'll tell you what, he's a pretty sick fella.
But what a performance it was. He must have thought himself to be a soccer player or something,
I think it was staged.
It's coming in, starting the second quarter of the 66 Grand Final. And at this stage, we find the Saints are 4 points up. Players set themselves. Daryl Griffiths is marked. He's on only a slight angle. Up he comes to take his kick. It's on its way. The result, it's right through.
Beautiful kick. And Stewart.
Oh, what He's on top in the centre, I'd say, at this stage.
Towards the half-back flank. There's a nice clash. He did exactly what you said, Ted. There's a chance there for a mark to Sierakowski. Gabbling. What's it through?
Players set themselves. Cooper again. Like a quid for every, or a couple of dollars for every mark he's taken.
Howell taken to the ground and will get the free kick.
Oh, what for?
Ollie the man.
Talking about what for, it had to be a free kick.
All right, I'm asking you what for.
Well, because he didn't have the ball when he was tackled from behind.
That's all I wanted to know. I wish you were out there playing, Whitten. There's a kick now from Alan Morrow towards the forward line. And there's a ripper, Kevin Neale. Oh, boy, you came through like an express train.
I suppose you're going to ask what for.
Up he comes, it's on its way. He's got the distance, accuracy. Right.
The streamers on the MCG that day protruded from the fence line in past the boundary line. We'd get entangled in all this bloody paperwork.
They'd gradually get all over the ground and there'd be chaos. They were a nuisance, but it was part of the game.
And the ball is trundled over the boundary line.
Player and all.
And look at that Galar over there. Why doesn't he stay home and play with his dolls? Throw in.
And it's goal for goal and point for point, and still 8 points only the difference in favour of St Kilda.
It wasn't a good game of footy. A lot of missed kicks, a lot of kicking to opponents.
It was scrappy early, tough. It was really man-on-man stuff, and they get one and we get one.
On to Tuddenham, whose shot on the run from the flank goes right through the centre, reducing the margin to 2 points.
I'll tell you what, if anybody's got heaps of money on this game, they better go away and sit quietly in a corner, because they'll have a heart seizure before it's all over. And once again, Bingley having a few words to say to him, but I don't think old Tuds will be upset by a few words. I'll tell you what, I'll predict now, I wouldn't be one bit surprised if this turned out to be a draw.
Oh, come on, Michael.
I'm telling you, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not saying it will, but I wouldn't be surprised.
The ball is passed from player to player until Tuddenham finds Richardson, who kicks a remarkable angle goal from the boundary line.
It was at a crucial time of the game. We were neck and neck, and you could feel the whole lift of the stadium when that occurred. And we think, oh, here we go.
There's a chance for Neale. He's held. He'll get a play. Oh, look at that.
I think they were barracking for St Kilda.
Well, he was barracking for St Kilda for sure. I think Michael was too, to be honest with you.
Oh, he was held. Jack Hill, the blind miner, could see that.
What a game.
Oh, what a commentary.
Tension running high here at the MCG. It's on its way. The result of it.
And look at the way that Neale encourages everybody.
He drives one forward. It's in the goal square. Thompson. No chance for missing this. You couldn't see him missing. Chipped it down. Look at this man, 1 point. Oh, no. There's the siren. Half-time. Everybody expected a great game, and I'll tell you what, this opening hasn't let a soul down.
Do you still think there's a chance for a draw, Michael?
A draw would be a fitting result to this, Ted. Watch, I just put the lighter end of my cigarette into my mouth.
We all went into the toilet together at half-time and enjoyed a cigarette.
Sit in the toilet, having a smoke.
It was sort of an in thing. It was wrong.
There would have been a couple of them that quite smoked. That's just the way it was in those days.
I was very prestigious. I thought it was very big of me to be able to smoke.
Jeansy knew where I was. He'd come in and knock on the door and say, righto, time to go.
And then came back and played the second half. It's an absolute disgrace.
I wonder what was in those cigarettes. That might have been the key to it, do you think?
There's Bobby Rose. Bob Rose and his boys are out there battling magnificently.
Bobby Rose, he was still super confident.
You get to play for Bob Rose. He had a good way about mixing with people.
Tactically, he was probably a little ahead of his time. He wasn't afraid to make a move. He'd never let the game get away from him. We knew from the start of the game to the finish that we had a battle in our hand.
The third quarter heralds some of the most exciting football ever witnessed at the MCG. Pouncing on the ball, Tuddenham accelerates through a pack to snap a goal inside the first minute. On the only 2 occasions he's found freedom from Bingley's vigilance, the Collingwood captain has scored.
Baldock has grabbed. He's playing on. And Baldock is getting the free kick.
Against him. It's against him.
Baldock, his kick is true, and the opposing captains have scored within 60 seconds of each other.
Will he get the distance? He's a good long way out. Oh, it's a mighty kick. It's a beauty, I'll tell you what. At this stage, I wouldn't have a zack on either team. That's how close I think it is. He kicks a high one in here towards the centre half forward or very... Oh, Sierakowski! There he goes. He kicks down to the goal square. Cowboy Neale. Only a slight angle to the Richmond end. He's off now. Oh, what a miss. Drives it further afield. Up they go. Oh, Minot went up a mile. Here's a go. Oh, look at Neale. He's on his own. The left foot.
Cowboy kicking those goals. He kicked them when the game was on a little bit of a cliff. I felt Cowboy played an enormous game.
Oh, it's a bad kick. It's in towards Gabelik. In trouble. Gabelik came fastest.
Gabbo had his back to Crouch, and how can Crouch see around Gabbo's broad shoulders?
You can see around me when I tried it.
He was 140 kilos, 5 stone heavier than I was, massive man, build-wise. I mean, he was huge.
Well, he was huge. In fact, Bob would give him an ultimatum. He had to be 19 stone, otherwise he wouldn't get a game. Now, whether he got to 19 stone, Gabbo, I'd never know. I don't think many other people would ever know.
He's the fella they need now. The big bear, Gabbling.
In a spirited bid for possession, no player spares himself in a game of true body contact.
Here's a chance for Surly, I've got a free! It's Richardson, Michael, and we're into time on. Richardson now, still 11 points up St Kilda. Richardson, 30 yards out. Comes up, he kicks. I think he's put it on through. They're worried now there. Allan Jeans, thinking, can we do it for the first time ever?
I was absolutely petrified because I didn't want to experience what had happened the year before again.
There wasn't 1 second you could enjoy that game because it wasn't over till the final bell.
There's a siren for three-quarter time. Collingwood 7-11, 53. 4 points down to St Kilda, 8-9, 57.
Three-quarter time, Allan Jeans, I'll never forget that because we were kicking against the win in the last quarter.
He just zizzed himself up to a frenzy.
The way he spoke to the players was just unbelievable, and I had tears in my eyes.
25 minutes to make a name for yourself like you never made before!
It was him. It was Jeansy. He was the one that really inspired us.
Gives you goosebumps now thinking about it. You have an opportunity to do something that no one in the footy club had ever done before.
Well, you can't let him down. Can't let the coach down. You just got to do what you have to do.
Holding the ball aloft, starting the final quarter of the 1966 grand final. There's a long kick, it's going to the goal square, they fly. Gabbardek's getting the free. He's on a slight angle. Oh no, he's kicked it. One behind off the side of his boot.
Just seen it slide off the side of his boot because he's always a fairly good kick, Gabbo.
You wanted to be in front, but it was too far from home to consider that you were going to win the game.
It'll be the survival of the fittest in this last quarter. The first side that'll crack as far as physical fitness is concerned. Oh boy, what a tense struggle this is. Up to centre half forward for St Kilda. Here's a go. Griffiths pushes it on. And through it goes from the front of the ring. Oh boy. You could cut the air with a knife here. The tension is absolutely enormous. Oh, Butch, I don't know about you, but I'm just nervous. 90% pro St Kilda crowd here. Baldock's there from behind. Neale! Oh, did you see that? Of course you did. What a magnificent effort. Now that wind could be tricky. You watch this ball drift away. There's the kick. Oh, did it ever drift? And they're running riot at the moment. They've got colossal pressure on Collingwood. Collingwood look to me as if they're tiring a little bit. The tension is enormous. Hayes on and young Davis off for St Kilda.
Kevin Billing on the bench, named as 20th man next to Travis Pays. He never got a run.
I think Jeansy forgot he was there. You know, just because why wouldn't you put a fresh man on the ground?
Jeansy asked him about 5 minutes to go on. He said, nah, don't worry about it.
And Tuddenham now a good 45, 50 yards out on the flank. I'll tell you what, this is going to be close. It's touched, I think. No! Well, there's Allan Jeans giving directions.
Breen
a lot of people said this will be the best grand final scene for years. There's a flip. Go, Ray boy, you can't do that. It's kicking towards centre half forward. There's a go. Sierakowski.
Ball kept coming down again. Bob Murray, Daryl Griffiths, Roger Head, Sinner, the back line. We just had to hold them out and hold them out.
There's the kick. The players set themselves up there. It's a mark. Ian Graham. Here he comes. There's the kick. He's put it right through the centre. Struggles it forward, picked up by Moran. Moran kicks into the goal square. Neale. Kevin Neale. The pressure's right on the boy from South Warrnambool. He kicks, he's put it right through. The
official attendance, 101,655. 45 to 50 yards out, kicking from the member stand flank. There's the kick. I'll tell you what, this is going to be close. It's through.
1 point the difference, and that's new life back into the Magpies.
Do you still think there's a chance for a draw, Michael?
Well, I'll tell you what, the draw would be a fitting result to this, Ted. Picked up by Neale, always grabbed around the neck, and he couldn't possibly punch the
Holding the ball.
Oh, turned it up.
Definitely holding the ball.
How could he punch it?
He only had him round one arm.
It's for Big Knee. Breaking clear, we find Kevin Rose. He drives forward. Taken in the half volley by Murray. Murray's kick, not a particularly good one.
Bob Murray drop kick. Staggering.
Running flat chat and kicking a drop kick. Couldn't believe it.
For all those people that kick droppies, 3/4 of them went underground.
How he ever caught it and marked it in those days, I'll never know.
And now it's a draw. 73 points each. Can they get up? Oh, there's tremendous pressure out here. And the excitement, the place is seething. Michael, you might be right. This could be a draw.
I tip this. It's taken by Richardson. He drives at the big ones. It's out of bounds in the forward pocket.
Oh, it's madness. They're all on the ball.
There they go. Up goes Minor. He gets a tap down. Potter has it. He can't break clear. It's taken by Breen. That's a point. It's a point. St Kilda in front. St Kilda in front.
How long have they been playing, Mike?
They have been playing. If my hand will stop shaking, I can see the watch. 27 and a half minutes.
I looked at them and I lined it up. I had that little bit of time. And I can remember it just rolling towards and Cowboy chasing it, and it beat him over the line. Thank God.
I was just so pleased because I didn't want to come back the next week.
And we find the ball being driven forward. It's at centre half forward for St Kilda. Why not? He'll be played the mark.
Slow it down. Slow it down.
Yes, he's taking your advice, all right, Ted. Can the Saints hang on and win their first ever?
They've got it.
Oh, golly me.
Why not with the ball now? Comes up. It's going to be a good
That's
long
kick.
kick.
That's a magnificent kick. It's a ripper. They set themselves up. They go. And we find and they get some line taken by Waters once again.
There's a very worried Allan Jeans, coach of St Kilda.
We still had a little bit of time, and we went forward again.
He goes across the face of goals. He kicks to the flank position on that outer side. They set themselves. It's a goal. Tuddenham, a break. Tuddenham kicks to centre half forward. They set themselves and a mark for Bob Murray.
All Tuddy had to do was have another bounce and we were in real trouble.
I looked up and I can still see it today. I should have gone for one more bounce, you know, deep down. What if they dragged me to the ground? Would have been the same result anyhow.
He could have actually had another 2 or 3 bounces. You never know what could happen after that.
You think, my God, when you do one more, you know?
I was right next to Bob Murray. He said, just kick the shit out of it as long as you can towards the boundary line.
Hit the boundary line.
28 and a half gone. There's Murray's kick to the wing position on the outer side. Look at this.
We won one flag, 140 years, and I'm part of that. Can't get any better than that.
When the time came and you had to be counted, every one of us did it.
I think all the players that were involved would live it 1,000 times.
Fantastic.
Here at the MCG, look at this scene. Probably the most emotional scene I've ever seen in football.
There you see the players of both sides swapping Guernseys in traditional fashion.
Anybody who didn't know football that watched that, they could only think that Collingwood won the game when in fact that wasn't the case.
I know Doc has regrets about not being in a St Kilda jumper, and he's said that many times.
There they go. Around the ground in their foreign Guernseys. Barring Synman there at number 9.
I just got swept up in the emotion of running around the ground, so I didn't swap it. Because when I look at that footage or any film now and see him in that jumper, that doesn't look right running around that jumper.
Look at Bobby Rose, a great sportsman, coming over to congratulate him. Allan Jeans has broken down.
I saw Bob Rose put his arm around Allan Jeans, and I thought, well, That's the way you got to be, you know. You've got to take it graciously and be happy for them too, you know.
Never mind, Bob. Your boys fought it out well.
I always remember Gabbo saying to me, I should have done more for you, Tuddy. I let you down a bit. I said, I think we all let ourselves down in some ways.
So we're fighting on now, and we'll come up, I feel. But hell, spells, it was bloody disappointing today.
The next day, that's when it really hits home. And then the nightmares start.
It does haunt you, but you can't change it. Yesterday's gone.
The fact that it was St Kilda's first was fantastic for them. It wasn't fantastic for us. We wanted to win it. Just there to win the Premiership. Play a whole year to win it.
First of all, I'd like to congratulate you all, first of all, and I'd like you all to charge up and drink a toast to our coach.
And Jeans, he got up and gave a speech. It was something again that I'll never forget.
Wherever you go, whatever you do, I'll remember you for the rest of my life. He did, right to the very end.
Oh, pretty powerful. Those words, that really brings it all back home to you. Now that he's gone, It's hard to comprehend. It meant so much to you, you know.
He was our soul, he was our leader, and we were just pleased that we'd won it for him.
Oh. And the last words I said to him, he said, I love you, and that was on the telephone, and I still do.
To a little restaurant in St Kilda Road called McClure's.
Ian Turpie was there with his girlfriend. He was big time then. So we all wanted his autograph. He said, you want my girlfriend's autograph? Oh, yeah, give us what's her name? Olivia Newton-John. We didn't know who she was.
We then went back to Sarah's hotel. We partied there until very late at night.
Every room was full with party goers. Every corridor was full. My father, who obviously had a bit of foresight and wisdom, he'd got together with a group of people. They had arranged that if we won the grand final, 30 of them would parade up to Tommy Bent's statue, which in those days was right in the middle of Nepean Highway. And at 12 midnight, they put the St Kilda Guernsey on this beautiful statue in the middle of the road.
It was fantastic, and it stayed there for a while, actually. So I think most of the councillors there were all keen St Kilda people as well.
It did spark up. After 12 o'clock, I can tell you. It was on for young and old. Got a fag in the hand. I'm trying to hold the VFL trophy, which somebody's pouring champagne into it. I mean, it's all going on. Yeah, I was in pretty good nick.
Breen pops the goal, and it's bounced through for point.
You talk to certain people and they'll say, Breen, if it wasn't for that point, you'd be carrying garbage somewhere. You'd be doing nothing.
Barry Breen, if you can remember him, he kicked this point, which has made him famous. But Cowboy kicked 5 goals and should have got enormous accolades. I think I took 8 or 9 marks for the day in the back pocket and saved all the Collingwood goals.
The poet speaks, but no one listens.
Sarah's dirty that I get all the publicity and he doesn't. And it's great to see that Sarah's in this doco because it's a return to form for him from 1966.
We got nothing, and then Breeny gets these accolades for kicking a point, and I think it's one of the only things he did that day. That's my memory of it, anyhow.
A lot of people talk about why would you barrack for a team that's only won one premiership in 140 years? Why would you barrack for a team? It's never boring at St Kilda. Sometimes we wish it was more boring because it'd be a bit more pedestrian and there wouldn't be the dramas.
It's always a battle and always has been. And finals and grand finals and winning premierships obviously don't come easy for us. Wherever you go, whatever you do, I'll always remember the guys I played with, as they will me, and they make Jeansy's words even more powerful.
I can't express my feelings, we've just won it, that's all we can do. I won't realise till tomorrow, what a victory we've won.
We're still glorified, if I can use that word, which is sad. It's just disappointed that they have won more than one.
It's become more and more each year how privileged we are that we are members of that first premiership side, but pissed off we're the only ones. Really, as a team, we would love another team to win another premiership. And it'll happen, don't worry about that. I don't know when, but it will. And we hope it's sooner than later.
The Saints' great captain, Daryl Baldock, is the toast of the league. He fulfills a promise to go one better in 1966, made when St Kilda went down to Essendon last year.
I don't talk about football very much, but the supporters, little old ladies, very, very old, who kept saying, only kept alive to see St Kilda win the final. And that's saying, you know, dark and time piece now. Unreal.
This is the first time we've been able to do it, and it's something tremendous. It was an effort to every boy, just, well, pure guts, if I may say that.
When we went to St Kilda, it was the first time anyone in either side of the family ever moved away from Tasmania. My wife said, we've got to make it successful.
And you made it every bit successful.
I think so, yeah.